anyway, right? So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, I have my pet
yeah.
insurance through the Working Advantage site, and I also have uh, I actually bought a few. We have like these dining deals for restaurants on the site, which are great.
Oh, that's cool.
So I bought like these gift cards to restaurants. Got a great discount on a few of them, 50% off. So I bought a
Oh,
bunch of
that's really
those. And
good. That's
yeah,
smart,
gave
actually.
gave some of those as gifts. Planet Hollywood 50% off was one.
Looks
So
like I'll
there
be
you go.
logging in and getting some gift cards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We have a comment over there. Aaron is Team Ravenclaw. I respect that. That's really good.
There you go.
That's really. I'm not a huge Harry Potter guy myself, but what I do know, I'm definitely a Slytherin. So I took the whole test, and my Patronus is actually a ragdoll cat, which is my cat. So that's kind of weird, but so it's fate. Uh, so yeah, let's 1 more minute and we'll get started.
Sure.
Says Mace over here is Team Gryffindor. I think
Yay.
that I don't think that that's true. I think he's a Hufflepuff, but so it's okay. It's all right. It's something that it's actually Gryffindors are very proud, right? So he's probably definitely a Gryffindor. Let me see here. Cool. So let's get started. So obviously you guys are here because we invited you, but we did want to talk to you about something that's very important that is definitely overlooked. Real quick, Nick is Team Slytherin, so we have one more on here, so that's amazing.
Yeah, Nick,
I
there you
definitely
go,
have to
Nick.
say that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we wanted to talk to something that a lot of people overlook with wellness. Whether it's physical movement, whether nutrition, mental health, or recovery, which we could all definitely use more of, is employee wellness and employee well-being. Especially in today's society, go. I could say the majority of us are tired, and so that's why we brought Paul on here to kind of go into employee well-being and how not only does it affect your life, but also employee wellness programs affect every every aspect to the point where it cascades from the top down in every job. So whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you work for Fortune 500 out there. So Paul, you want to just tell us a little about what you do, and then we can go from there.
Sure. And I will start by saying this, folks. You spend 8 hours sleeping, maybe, right? And then you spend 8 hours at a job, right? And then there's the other 8 hours that you're getting ready for work and everything. So work in general just takes up so much of your time, right? It's either school, and then after school there's work. It's a third of your day. And with that, it's very easy to say, well, work is work and my personal life is my personal life, but we all know all of that just kind of like rolls all in together. And that's why wellness programs and the employee discount programs that like I'm involved in are so insanely important, because they will really give you the opportunity to kind of like recharge, and at the same time, they'll also be great for the employer, because the programs really help them, recruit, retain, and re-energize their employees. So I just wanted to start with that. By saying that about the programs. I've been in my role here for the past 3 years, and I'm really finding these programs I'm seeing how important they are to some of the biggest organizations across the United States. A lot of Fortune 500 companies, especially that I work with. I'm very fortunate that my wife is an HR professional. So
There you go.
yeah, so I don't get away with a lot of people, folks. My wife's an HR professional. So yeah. She walks by my office when I work from home, and she goes, "You said that, really?" So
HR always breathing down your neck. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
exactly what I'm
absolutely.
saying. So but yeah. So but I'm very fortunate, like, and I've learned so much, from my wife about, the like how HR functions and what they do, and really see like how difficult it is, especially with resources, like,
Sure.
for companies to give benefits to people. Everything's so expensive, and most of these programs, the corporate wellness programs, on the discount side are free, like ours. Um, and I really seen how important they are over these past couple of years. Before that, whoever knows me knows I was in tour and travel for a very, very long
It's
time with
still in your heart. I absolutely.
yeah, that's one of the reasons
Yes.
why I'm with this company, like because I worked with Legoland and at the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island. I've been very fortunate in my career.
That's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
basically, your job, and also which gives you amazing insights. And just tell me if I'm wrong. I actually that's I like to be
Well, I'll
wrong,
tell you.
so I
Well,
can't.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, so your job is to connect these companies with you to give a plethora of wellness options, right?
Yeah. So, what I do is, we on our side, we're called a solutions provider, right? The enterprise solutions provider. So what we do is a company can come to us, and it could be, you know, pizza parlor from down the street with like 10 employees, all the way up to a giant, like I said, Fortune 500 company that have over 100,000 people. And what we do is, we work with any organization to put together a discount program platform for their employees that they can access online through their phone and provide them with great perks and discounts. And it ranges from products from anywhere from tour and travel to electronics to health and wellness to even hey, purchasing a meal kit. So yeah, some of the
Sure.
better programs in the US will have um, you know almost some of the better programs that can kind of function like an Amazon, for corporate discounts. And I'm very happy to say Working Advantage
I think
does that.
I think we have a few stats and a few slides to go over just because I don't think a lot of people understand the gravity of, like you said, you have 8 hours of sleep and then you go into 8 hours of work, if not more, right? Because when can you actually just close your laptop or your phone and it's done? Because it's always there now. And so we really wanted to get into how it's a complete wellness solution that you guys do offer, as well as sports stars, and how you can actually transform your health on and off the clock through using programs like these. I think that's so important because I like you said, a lot of people think that you can just do that and you're done with the day, right? But everything bleeds over to each other. So whether it's like I said, whether it's recovery, or if you're exhausted from the week and you don't want to go to the gym, or you don't want to go have any kind of movement, a walk in the park, or taking your dogs to a dog park, that those things really really add up. And so most wellness programs, they're going to solve one of the four, kind of how I mentioned the mental well-being aspect of it. So everything from mental health, because mental health is a very encompassing phrase, right? Whether it's something that you actually have a cognitive or behavioral problem, or a simple stress. I mean, the holidays are stressful. I have 10 days to get all of my gifts and somehow get them shipped out. So stay tuned. And to physical, I think in today's society, especially the last 20-ish years, I'm dating myself here, is there's a huge boom in actual movement, where I think there was definitely a loss for going to the gym per se, in the sense that you just want to be healthy, especially heart health. It's a leading cause of death in the United States. And then that goes into recovery as well as nutrition. And a lot of wellness programs really don't give all four of these parts, because they do work in harmony. And a company like yours, Paul, it definitely has every aspect of those four. Can you tell us, whenever you see, whenever you're talking to HR people, something about, with the broken system, or they add a program, spend a lot of money on, one of these big programs, and just falls apart because nobody uses them?
Right, that's correct. For most companies, resources has always been a problem. Is always a problem, right? And anytime you institute a program or something like that, well, you need the resources to ensure engagement. And a lot of times, a lot of these things just kind of fall apart. And I can tell you that the organizations that I work with, every single one of them, all four of these are have been mentioned all the time. Like. And what I do on my side is, we kind of pick and choose, what a focus will be for the month or a week or something like that, to really help the employer, help them position their employees in such a way where they can achieve wellness, because it all kind of like filters back and forth, right? So um, I'm seeing for the most part, like with these four things, matched up with what we do. That's how we really help an employer, like I say, recruit, retain, and re-energize employees. And one important thing I wanted to point out is something that HR people talk to me about all the time. Is just like, you know, everything that happens at work is at work, and everything that happens home it happens at home, but they're
Yeah.
never segregated. It's all one thing, right?
Yeah.
Chef was talking about shopping. He's stressed out, shopping because he should have shopped earlier and he didn't. He's a bad boy,
Hmm.
and
Very
that's
much
what
so.
and he should have, and he should have shopped earlier. But like I said, the stress works in all, whether it's imagined stress, real stress, whatever it is, physical stress, all of it, really culminates, into one thing. And there is no segregation between what happens at work or what happens at home, or, so that's why it's really important, to, at least for our company, it's really important for us to focus on everything to help companies, their employees achieve, a level of wellness that they need.
I think you definitely hit the nail on the head there, and it's focusing on all of it without being overwhelmed. You can see here that my colleague just pulled up, like I said, movement, nutrition, mental health, recovery, and we'll just kind of hit on each of these. Mental health, I think, obviously is a huge
Oh yeah.
thing that I advocate for every single day, because you can spend the most money on all your organic food in the world. You can get 8 hours of sleep with your lavender spray on your pillow, and you can be, jacked at the gym. But if your mind is still a storm, it really nothing pans out. Can you think of, a few mental health benefits that you guys offer? You don't have to name drop or anything like that, but just kind of to give some insight.
Well, I think on the mental health side, we offer, a series of products, some things that are very simple, like a Cope Notes, which gives like daily mental health, text, to online therapy. So we have those products that can really help, in an ancillary way, help people with their mental health. And of course, I think we'll talk more, a little bit more about it. Just having something in your downtime, because people, don't
Hmm.
have a downtime, and how important that is for mental health. And like our tour and travel selection is pretty amazing to help people with that on that side.
Sure. I mean, if you're always on, you can't get a chance to. I mean, that blends into the other ones as well, but you can't get a chance to really bounce back. Just to go off on a comment, Aaron is actually talking about financial well-being. So obviously, you have a job. Hopefully, it's your passion. If not, it pays your bills. Uh, Financial arguments are some of the largest struggles in marriages and relationships, and in family communications, especially through the holidays. And having the actual means to reach out to somebody, and how they mentioned that the whole HR website, the number one thing is financial help, whether it's a financial advisor, whether it's discount codes. That's a big stressor for everybody, especially in today's society where things are all over the place, right? And to go into that, how you were talking about, tourism and actually getting away, recovery is a huge one that people, they say they have 8 hours of sleep, but there's more to recovery than just getting good sleep, and just drinking your a million gallons of water a day. Can you think of anything besides tourism that pops up on your guys' site that would be really good, uh, like recovery example?
I think that, wow, I think the list is too long to mention,
Yeah,
because there's just so much there. Whether it's something on the electronic side, or it's an app. I just think that for us, there's just so much on the site. Um, I mentioned tour and travel because we do have like the biggest selection of attractions, that you can get. But even like vacations and hotel visits,
Sure.
great ways. One thing that I love is that on the recovery side we have like a spa and wellness discounts, and even
Oh, that's cool.
we can buy the card and redeem it at a whole series of different places. So I think that's a really really great, wonderful product, and you buy it at a discount and you redeem it for full retail value. Um, and those are the things that I always get the best feedback on. It's when it comes to like the spa and wellness, I hear people tell me all the time, um, it was just great relaxing for that little bit of time, and
Sure.
and learning how to relax, because most people don't do these things, right? So and it's
Yes.
also a great gift. So those are the type of things that on the site that I'm very happy that we carry, and that I heavily promote, and we work a lot with our vendors on to work with our clients.
I think that's a really good point. Is people, and not to get too in depth here because it's a different kind of call, but people do not know how to relax. I think there's a
Well,
new
I don't.
challenge going around. I try.
Oh, I don't.
I try. There's a new TikTok or Instagram challenge. I don't know, but it's sitting in silence for 30 minutes.
Oof.
And you would think that, that something so simple you'd be able to do it, but I watched this guy's Instagram page. It took him a week to get up to 10 minutes complete
Wow.
silence, just sitting there, not on your phone, not watching TV, not watching a podcast, and to take time for yourself, whether it's using our app to use one of the meditations for 10 minutes a day, or even like using your guys' services as well to take time for yourself is imperative for your overall health. I would
Yeah.
definitely say that. Yeah.
My wife would love that if I
Yeah.
could keep my mouth quiet for 30 minutes.
That's a stretch goal, I would say,
Oh,
at this point, right? Yeah, that's a stretch goal.
yeah,
And we
she would.
can
Yeah, she would definitely love
jump
that. Yeah.
we can jump over to the next slide here, and about having real results that your employees feel every day. You can see here, because it is so important to have programs in place for your employees that aren't just a band-aid. I know that, I'm not speaking for all HR managers out there, but I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of HR managers over this last year in this role that I'm in. And that one of the first questions I asked, do you want a band-aid or do you want to fix? Because there are companies, that they're like, all right, well, we have this wellness budget and we just need to use it. And it's very, very important to see how much the actual wellness of your employees affects your company, your revenue, your ROI, those KPIs that everyone always talks about. It's very important to see that, happy employees, more money, period. There's really no other way to say that. And what's your insight around the lifestyle integration for using companies like SportsStars or even your own? What
Well,
have you seen?
well, I mean, I'll say this: from all the companies I work with, and I work about 135, I think, at this point. Um, there's been no cookie cutter like solution. As best I can put it, it's like no cookie cutter solution. Every company has employees that do different types of jobs, whether it's something in an office, or it's something that's in a factory. Some skew older, some skew younger. Things depend on where they are in the in the United States. Some are more rural, and some are in the city where they can get around and walk around a lot. So there's all of these these big differences. There's no cookie cutter solution. Um, for these companies, and that's why a company really needs to work with each individual company to kind of figure that out for them. But the results that these programs can produce are, it really is monumental. There's the results, speak for itself. Um, some focus more on the financial wellness, and they kind of can say, hey, this is every penny saved is a penny earned, right? So that's really
Yeah.
money you're earning, and then some companies really, especially in law enforcement or on the government side, we'll see them focus more like, we really want to focus on wellness because of what our employees have to do on a daily basis and what
Sure.
they have to put up with. I mean, someone working at in a pharmacy at a counter is very different than a police officer walking down the street walking a beat, right?
Yeah.
So I can tell you that there's no answer where it's the same, because every company is different, all the employees are different, where they live is all different. There are things
Sure.
that are common throughout, but I always find that it's all really 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 different, and how they focus on mental health, physical recovery. It's all different.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, because you're right. Like, the pharmacist is going to have a much different line of stressors than, say, a police officer, or you say a call center worker or anything like that. I think the bottom line is having and tell me if you feel the same, is having a really good portfolio or variety of options for employees. And then also
Oh,
the integration
sure.
in their lifestyle. I think lifestyle integration, both while working and while not working, I think are very important. You can see there's a really good, a few examples that we have here are wearables are massive. You can ask my coworker Shiva; he's obsessed with wearables right now. Do you have any? Do you do the Oura Ring or the Apple Watch and all of that?
No, I don't actually. I wish I did, but
Well,
I
we
don't.
should send you one, right? We should we should send you one.
Well, thank
There
you. I
you go.
appreciate that.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see
yeah.
if Dean can send you something. But I feel like wearables. I mean, obviously they can be a distraction. Anything's a tool if you want it to be a tool. But wearables, especially now with either water tracking, sleep
The word
tracking,
intake. Yeah, sleep tracking.
yeah, sleep
That's big.
tracking.
That's big that's been big with us too. That's something that
Yes,
we've
sleep
yeah,
tracking. So
yeah.
whether it's an Oura Ring, an Apple Watch, a Whoop, they have amazing sleep tracking. And then I would say the next big thing for integration, just to help you stay organized with all of that, is obviously AI, right? I mean, I sound like a broken record, and I think everybody does. I think everything is AI integrated. Fast food restaurants now have AI. So have you seen a big uptick in AI with you, or at least what your clients are asking for?
Oh, sure. I think that's front and center with every single um, client, whether it's like I said, Fortune 500 company, or an organization that has is a handful of employees, like a small mom and pop
Yeah,
store or something like that. I think that's is going to play a really, really, really big key, and we're kind of in the infancy, with all of that. And I think
yeah,
a lot of that, where we're going to be working this a lot is with a lot of the our major vendors. So we're going to be working with a lot of those big companies on that coming up. So. Oh yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
think,
and that's going to be the future. Yeah, and
yeah.
in regards to the products, and what they have to offer, and our site itself, which we have some big things coming down the line for 2026.
Absolutely. I think that the integration of AI and either you can hate it and be mad about it, or you can jump on board with it. I know we just recently rolled out, and here's a little plug, AI integration on our app. So it's pretty cool to be doing a workout and seeing the workout, and you're like, okay, am I doing this right? Let me just ask. So ours is actually integrated with Chat GPT, and you don't even have to leave the app, ask your questions right away. Or are you I just recently tried to do keto myself. I dropped off pretty fast within I think like a week or two. But I'm like, is this keto? I'm like, why isn't this keto? And so to have that right there while you're logging your food, or you're logging your water, or not being able to add sugar to your sweet tea because you just found out that that's not keto. So something like that, I think, is really imperative and helpful to have that as basically your sidekick, going through, seeing if you did sleep in REM or light sleep, because you have that access now, that instead of it being, well, I guess a lot of people do use AI as a online therapist, which I don't think is a good idea, but it is, it is a really good tool that I agree with you that it's going to keep getting better and better and keep having more integration. And if anyone in the chat, or anyone that's here right now, if you have any insight on that, or if you've used it for a really, really good example. Mine was Thanksgiving. I actually made a healthier mac and cheese. So I used chickpea pasta, and I used better cuts of cheese. But I never would have thought to do that. Beforehand, you would go online, try to Google it. You go to those recipe websites, which always have a novel about somebody's grandma,
There you go.
and you try to scroll down, but you can never find it. And so I think that's definitely wearables, AI, and that integration between work and home. We just need to be honest with ourselves that the stress doesn't just leave the door whenever you close the laptop per se.
Oh, that's true. Everything is one, my friend. It's a very
Yes.
Zen way of looking at it. Everything is one. So there you go.
And then I think finally we have a comment here. It says, yes, AI is very helpful in creating healthy recipes and even grocery lists. Yes, grocery lists.
Oh, grocery lists are great for that.
For
Yeah.
sure. Grocery
I've done
lists.
that. I've done
Yeah. You can actually use it too. I was using Gemini to find different spices because I was trying to find this certain spice, and it showed me basically where I can get spices. And there's different apps for different things, but I think, grocery lists are amazing. I know I sent my partner grocery list with the emoji attached to it because it makes it like a little more fun, right?
Yeah, there you go.
But I think that wraps up that slide about just having a plethora of tools to use and then trying to have this unified wellness experience. And that obviously is going to lead to higher energy levels throughout the day, improved mood, and just strongly daily habits. Do you do any tracking, Paul?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. And but I must admit, I'm not the most vigilant. Happens in spurts for me.
Sure.
So yeah, I definitely have to. I have to do a lot better. Every time I get out of a chair, I win a weightlifting contest. So I gotta.
I think you should be a little nicer to yourself.
Yeah, so there you go. But I gotta definitely have to do a little bit better. One thing I did want to mention, we're talking about, tracking everything and like with employees. When I'm talking to like some of these especially the larger companies, they're really really smart about understanding that your personal life affects the professional. It's all reciprocal, and for them, it's the ultimate goal for them is employee productivity, right? That's what they want. They want employees to be productive. They also want them to be happy and productive. And I've noticed since I've been working at this organization how important that really is on the focus. And my wife has always used to tell me that. My wife and I used to work at the same company, and she used to stress that to me all the time when we were together when she was in HR at an organization that we worked with together. So just really really important, like how all that is reciprocal and it affects one another and it's really worth it for a company, large companies especially, any company, that they invest in their employees. Absolutely. So they're having the best quality of life at the job and off the job. Really, really important.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. I think that that's common sense, right? If you have happier employees, you're happy customer service. You would think.
You would think it's not 1950 anymore.
Yeah,
get to work, young man. Get to work, young man.
Go to the factory, right? Yeah,
go to the factory.
But I agree with you wholeheartedly, and the point you made up about how you can't just turn it off. I think I kind of get lost in that sense as well too, because I've always been a remote employee since college. So it's extremely hard for me to be like, okay, I'm done with work today, because there's always something to do, but if you invest in your employees' well-being overall with companies like Better Place that you do that you do speak about so much, like we talked about pet insurance, from travel to gift cards, which I'm definitely going to be using the gift card one. Literally right after this. And so it's so important to have these options for your employees besides just reimbursement for a gym, right? Or here are 2 therapy sessions for insert this therapist company here, because it just falls very short versus
Sure,
having
sure.
options, having
Yeah,
those options.
and I always say that the better, the savings platform organizations like ours are like Working Advantage been in place. The really the big benefit, to working with an organization like ours is that we really shape the program to you, and that's really important.
Sure.
Like I said, it's not cookie cutter. Nothing can be cookie cutter. Yeah, there are a couple of things that you want to, and most companies are like, they want to tick off a box and say mental health, blah 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 blah, and that's it. Here's a bunch of stuff, and be on your way. But every company is just so different. And one thing I do
Yeah.
want to tell you is that when it comes to just overall wellness, you'll see a very, very big difference between an office employee and then what we call like a frontline on the ground employee, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
People who are punching in and out, working on a factory line, working at a restaurant, and then you'll see the big differences between, employees that skew older, and some companies skew younger depending on what they do, and some have a lot of college kids, and some really skew more towards older people, to a certain degree. Um, just these really big, vast differences, on how you have to approach wellness. Yeah,
Yeah.
overall encompassing, there's a way to do it, but every good companies will go in and really figure that out on their side. And that's what we do. Like when I work with a client, we go in and we look at, hey, what are your employees looking for? What are they shopping for? What are the categories? Do we have all this? What are we missing?
Yeah.
What are we missing on our side? And when companies can dig in that deep, they get the one thing every company wants: insight. That's what a company wants. They want insight.
Data.
If
Yep.
you have insight into your employees, um, on what they're searching for and what they're buying and all that jazz, um, that can make all the difference in the world. So yeah, and I know Seth's dog agrees with me because I just heard him bark.
Yes, yes, of course. I think I actually was going to ask you that question. Is you work directly with HR companies much more than I do. So insight would be number one, and I think that also stems over to the personal use too. Is you have to know where you have to know where you are in order to know where you're going. To not to get into all of that, but New
Sure.
Year's resolutions are coming up, and people are going to
Yeah.
buy the new shoes and hit the gym on January 1st, and then I'm not going to go on January 1st. And so I think knowing your past, knowing where you currently are, having a plan, and then talking to experts like yourself, where you can say, hey, you need a pulse on your employees. These are some questions you can ask. These are some metrics you can actually look at. Do you have any claim to fames about how you've helped some companies out there?
Oh yeah. And I can't name them by name, but
Yeah.
there's a couple. There's one organization in the insurance field that's really, really big, where they have all these different locations across the United States, national company, and they were kind of working in silos at each location. And when we really looked at, their company and how to work with them, it was like, yes, they want to have this one big overall approach for, their entire company, but they didn't want to lose their regional identity.
Sure.
So we work with these organizations to create programs that, yeah, nationally they're going to be hitting, but we also focus on the local and regional, and that was really, really important. Another one that I will bring up, and they're really big in the manufacturing field, and especially on the East Coast, really big, and pharmaceutical too. And the big thing with them was trying to build a program that was all encompassing of all the special, like, offers and deals and free things that they did with their employees, and then really create um, a strategy to really
Cool.
measure engagement, usage, and see what was really beneficial for the employees. And in doing so, we were able to kind of streamline things for them and save on their resources. So they knew exactly where to spend, where not to spend, what they should
Exactly.
be doing, and that really helped out with their employees. And these are the type of programs, when we work with people, we it grows. It's this living thing. We nurture it, we let it grow, we figure out where we need to go next. And I'm very fortunate. We have a really great products team and marketing team that can really
Oh
find the
yeah.
products and really get the word out. So yeah, I think those are the two things I could say there, that that was fantastic. But I will mention one thing. We did work with a little company that I really like a lot called Sports Stars, and
Oh
yeah, and we
yeah.
and we worked with them this past summer with a few of our largest clients, and
Oh
they
yeah.
were able to bring a really really great wellness program into these organizations, and they still talk about it. It was because it was
Yes.
something that was really really different, and because there's so many wellness programs out there, but this was just different, on your approach and everything. So I thank you for that, because that worked out
Absolutely,
great for
Paul.
me.
It's I thank you for always working with us too. I think just to go off on that, and then we can wrap this up and then do like a Q&A. But I think it's important to know what works, what doesn't work in both the HR corporate side as well as your personal side. I have a lot of clients always ask, all right, well, whenever I get to the gym, one of my amazing friends, she was like, I'm going to the gym. I started my membership. I don't want to do bench press. And so, like
Yeah,
if
yeah,
there's
yeah.
not one good fit for everybody, like Amanda, you do not have to do bench press to get healthier. And so I think that that's really important, because it fits in both ways, whether it's corporate or yourself. And so it's really finding out movement, any kind of physical activity whatsoever, as I'm glitching over here, any kind of physical activity whatsoever. Focusing on getting healthier through your food, eating cleaner. And it doesn't have to be, building Rome yesterday. It's small increment changes, recovery, focusing on sleep, or you're going to focus on your electrolytes. And then mental well-being. If you can't afford therapy, because it is expensive, and if you can't afford to go to a psychiatrist, take time for yourself. Go out in nature. It sounds very cliche, but go take a walk, unless it's very cold, like some of my family up north, and then don't go for a walk, because. But I think you kind of hit the nail
New
on the head.
Yorkers work it. I'm from New York originally.
Oh
We,
yeah,
we, we
yeah.
walk in the cold. So
I
there
mean,
you go.
I'm originally from West Virginia, and it was
Yeah,
50 degrees here yesterday, and I'm like, oh no, I can't do it. I'm a Florida boy
yeah.
now.
Hey, same thing with me. Seth and I both are,
Yeah,
are, are in Florida. I'm in Orlando, and I
yeah,
used to be New York tough South. I'm not New York tough
yeah.
anymore.
It make this state makes you a little soft. It does. I think
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think I get cold way too easy, and everything's a little slower down here. I absolutely love it. But
Well, I
yeah, I
love it.
think if anyone has any questions or answers for us, we would love to answer some Q&A. That includes any of my amazing colleagues that helped us run this today. If you guys have any questions, I know Shiva will probably talk your ear off about AI. He's probably one of the most vast people. Any new AI that's popped up, he's like, I already have that, and he'll walk me through it. So
Yeah.
if you guys have any questions or comments or concerns, we'd love to hear them. And while they're typing away, Paul, thank you so much for
Thank
speaking
you.
with me today. It's been honestly a pleasure working with your company and working with some of your coworkers. It's been great. Not only have Sports Stars have we benefited from it, and here's a plug, with our Swiss Army knife of an app, because we do cover all four pillars of wellness. But also, I have too. You've been an amazing resource for sure. So
Oh,
thank you.
thank you. And I just want to say thank you too. And one thing I will say, I really appreciate about working with you guys is that I know some of the companies that we worked with, there's like maybe an employee would have a question, and you guys were really, really good, but just jumping in and working directly with that employee. So it wasn't like
Oh yeah.
it went to an HR person, to the employee. You guys jumped in there and helped out. And that's one of the reasons why I work so closely with you guys, because you've done a great job on really setting up a quality program. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for that. I mean, we really pride ourselves on, obviously, customer satisfaction. Everyone does, right? That's the end goal. But we really pride ourselves on having a boutique feel where we can make changes, or we can upgrade really, really fast. Like I said, we just got the new Chat GPT upgrade, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. So it looks like there's no questions. Brandy West is listening from West Virginia, from my hometown. But I would give you guys a goal, a stretch goal. One of the four pillars: movement, mental health, recovery, nutrition. Focus on one of those. This is the wellness coach in me. Focus on one of those going through the holidays, and just try to do just something a little bit different, a little bit smaller, whether it's taking the stairs instead of the elevator at the mall, whether it's not doing as much pumpkin pie. I'm not going to follow that one. But just do one kind of task over this holiday season. I think small changes, like you said, to having a big portfolio, plethora of options for companies. I think with that, I think a lot of people can see a lot of progress. All right. It looks like we're good. We're coming up to time. Paul, do you have anything you want to chime in with?
No. I just want to say thank you for everyone for your time. And you can always go to workingadvantage.com and check out our site. And if you have an employee program, great, use it, utilize it.
Yes.
And if you don't, talk to your HR company or your boss, and find out how you can get one of these. Because all you have to do is go to workingadvantage.com and you can be signed up pretty quickly. There you go.
Absolutely. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can reach me at seth@sportstars.com. I can put you in contact with Paul. And remember, everybody is a sports star. Thank you, guys.